I was always challenged by my father because he didn't like the short hair and the piercings and the tattoos, and that wasn't seen as something that would bring success. I just kind of said, Dad, it doesn't matter if I have piercings, like if I'm good at my job, then people will see through it. I just moved to my new studio in Camden. There's a small group of us that make up Studio Moross, and we work there during the week and generate sort of art direction for music. Music is a funny one because I actually used to be a musician. I used to be a singer-songwriter when I was younger. No published material. My taste is really vast. Everything from the artists that I work with to kind of old classics and even some kind of weirder, louder, more industrial stuff. I was the MySpace generation, looking at my peers who were around at that time, who I was socialising with, and seeing them signing artists that are reaching #1 or being in bands that are reaching #1. It's really kind of putting everything into place. I think what makes London interesting is that it's a challenge to live here. It's not an easy ride. Your lifestyle is more expensive, so even if you're succeeding, you have to keep succeeding to kind of maintain that. And as a creative person and part of the creative community, you can't rest on your laurels at all. And for me, in my job and in my life, challenges are what makes it interesting and makes me want to keep going. I left London after I graduated because I had a bit of kind of press exposure, and I was a bit freaked out by it. I found it quite overwhelming, and I was kind of part of this sort of party scene, and I wasn't really enjoying it. I didn't go to my graduation, I didn't take part in the end of year show. I got a ticket to New York and I stayed there for 3 months. I came back in secret and didn't really tell anyone that I'd moved back to London. I kind of feel like when I come back to the city, if I've been away from it, I'm like, oh, I'm back in the city, it's so nice. So I think being born in a major hub has an impact on you. It kind of bombards you with like kind of sensory bombardment, but for me it's kind of like white noise, if you know what I mean, and I just relax and I can rest in that sort of environment. My live-work balance is pretty balanced. Relaxing to me is not doing anything, not necessarily going out and doing lots of things and going to lots of places. It's quite, a lot of it's just sitting on the sofa and watching movies. Yeah, watching old, terrible films is my favourite pastime. One of the challenges I've set myself is to try and find the worst films ever made. But I'm quite fascinated by Hollywood and how it works, and especially as a kind of not a regular filmmaker, I make visual films, not narrative films. So I quite want to direct an action movie. That's like a really trashy one. That's kind of my dream job, preferably with Bruce Willis in it.